So, Richard, we're discussing distressed deals this month. We're just talking about developments in receivership. You've been involved in two purchases that we're going to talk about today. And one of those was a care home in Huddersfield that went into administration. Can you tell us a little bit about how did the deal come about, what you did with it, and what were your key learnings from that transaction?
Sure. Yes, certainly, Alex. So the deal came about by seeing a post on Facebook, funnily enough, that was a member of the public complaining that another chain of care homes was going into administration, and how are we dealing with this silver tsunami, as it's called. And so I'd seen the article. We actually went and Googled the actual chain of care homes. We knew the locations, so we thought it wouldn't be too hard to find who it was. We found it. We were easily able to establish who the administrators were, and I contacted the administrators directly and said, "Hey, look, I'm in property space. I've seen these properties. I know where they are, and I'd like to come and have a look at them." There were 6, as I mentioned. 3 of them just needed demolishing. It wasn't really for me. 2 of them I liked, but my offers were on my terms, and the administrators didn't like those. But the one that we actually purchased was one that I had to make it work. It wasn't great as a care home. In fact, the building was in terrible state, but it was right slap bang next to the university, and it made absolute sense to go and get planning and turn it into, it was actually 29 self-contained units. There were some things that we needed to watch out for along the way, and I cannot recommend enough that you have to have a great team of professional services around you. We discovered many things that the administrators, it's not that they didn't disclose them, is they just didn't know about it because it wasn't their building, and the company that owned them had dissolved. So our due diligence had to be thorough, and was thorough. We established that there was an entrance to a coal mine in the car park, so that was something important to establish because of insurance. But any of the normal disclosures that the sellers are obliged to give, because the seller technically didn't exist, and it was the administrator that was actually disposing of this. So thorough due diligence. We went and then got the planning on it to convert it into 29 self-contained units. What we did, though, even though it was going to be student accommodation, we decided to get a highways consultant involved, and we were able to get planning for any resident type, which, given current situations with COVID, was an exceptional piece of foresight, because the student market is in a bit of tatters at the moment. So because we were stripping the building out and starting again from scratch, in the questions that you might normally ask about the actual building and the mechanics of the building weren't really relevant, but it was just all about making sure that the legal side of things was really, really tightly administered and dealt with, because we could have really had some nasty surprises if we hadn't put that really tight team together.